Okay, everybody, today we're going to have a little bit of a business talk about RPGs. And if you're curious, yes, it says, I didn't ask how big the room is. I said cast Fireball because if I'm on the team, you were casting Fireball as often as we can. So a lot of talk about first edition, second edition, fifth edition, Wizards of the Coast, OSR, all this other stuff, right? So can somebody come in and disrupt TSR or Wizards of the Coast, which is, used to be TSR? With some kind of new RPG. And I think you can. I think there's space in the market for that. But let's look at something. This was my original book when I started playing the basic rules way back in 19 something. Interesting book, lots of good information in it. Some pictures of it in this article. But if you put that in today's world, you could put this on the market and not have it cost a whole lot because it does have nothing but color on the outside and black and white on the inside. So to print that and to sell it, you could probably get on a shelf for $28, $22 retail value, maybe 25 something, and not have to print thousands of them as you go to market. So there's the big key, right? If you're going to start a business, the way you do it is to keep the prices down. Well, the way you keep the prices down is by mass producing something. So if I got to keep the prices down on something like that as a new company, I got to take a risk and print 100,000 or 10,000 or 15,000 or something. And then if I only sell 1,000, I got 9,000 of them sitting in my garage, which I did that on a bunch of kids' books. And you should see my garage. I still have 500 or something of them in there, and I've given away hundreds of them. Yet they still darken my garage. Anybody wants some kids' books? Let me know. Like, should be some. The point is that if that came out today, I don't think you could get away with that. I don't think you could get away with just color on the outside and a bunch of black and white images with some decent sketches. Not terrible. I mean, better than I can draw. But today's market looks for something more like this, right? So this is the cookbook that came out along with sort of parallel to Dungeons and Dragons that has a bunch of elven cuisine and dwarven cuisine. And this is the kind of book people expect today. Artwork's a lot more refined. Printing is a lot better. Color throughout. You try to get this on the market, even with Wizards of the Coast, mass producing these way up front, pre-sales in the tens of thousands. We probably did a print run of 100,000 of these. Retail is still $35, right? So you got to get this, you got to have some maps, you got to have some other stuff to really get the game to kind of go. So is somebody willing to say, hey, I'm a new company and I'm not going to go print that many? That means your retail value going out the door of a new game is going to be $150, $100 if you're going to make anything on it, unless you're willing to lose money on it for a long period of time while you build a base. And there's an argument to that. But the point is, to disrupt it, it's not that easy. There's a few companies out there starting to do it, and they've struggled, and they're doing great work. And I don't want to get into names, but there's a lot of smaller gaming companies out there that are starting to get bigger that have done wonders in this. But if somebody was going to really come along and say, I'm going to just take Wizards of the Coast on, it'd be tough to do because you can't start it out of your garage and sort of be like a one-person shop. You've really got to have a couple $1 million worth of an investment that's going to be risk capital. And I think you could start to do it at the sort of 10 to 20 million range and really start to see where you could go to. But it's not like hey, three guys are going to get together and across some weekends, we're going to build something that's going to take Wizards on. It's too big for that. You really kind of got to get down in the weeds. But we're going to examine that a little bit more in the coming weeks. So stay tuned to the website, watch the Twitter feed, Instagram, wherever, TikTok, YouTube. And we're going to get into more of the business side of what really can be done in this industry and what is being done, because there are a lot of great companies out there that are smaller that are starting to make some headway. And I think those are fantastic companies we should support. So I'm going to kind of dig into what does it really take to enter this business and what would it take to really be successful at it? Because quite frankly, this does two things. Number one, it helps people see it. Number two, it helps me solidify what I want to do with the next 10 or 15 years of my life. Do I really want to take this on, or do I want to go do another tech project? So I'm in the middle of a tech project now. I'm not leaving anytime soon. So we got to finish that one first. But once that one's done, what do you do next? So stay tuned.